Hey guys, it's Jen, and it is now week 17 of my pregnancy. Everything's happening so freaking fast this time, and I know it's just because I don't have as much time to stop and think about it. I think I already said that in my last vlog. It's still holding true. I feel like I'm tired all the time, but you know what? That's what happens when you're on number 2. This week, the baby is the size of a chipmunk, which means that is definitely getting up there in size. I imagine that's like that big? Like a potato? So as far as I feel physically, I am definitely starting to see some upsides. I'm not quite as exhausted. I still have my exhausted days, but it's more like on and off. So if I do a day where I'm really productive and I'm doing a whole lot, I find that I kind of need to take it easy the next couple of days after that because I'll be so worn out from that day that even if I get a full night's sleep, it's just not enough. I'm just thinking back to my last pregnancy and how I felt that way pretty much throughout the entire pregnancy last time. And I remember when I finally gave birth and after I recovered, it was such an epiphany getting back to my normal energy levels where I felt like I had enough to do laundry and do chores and run after a child and still have some mental space to myself. But being back in this position where I'm doing the whole mental, physical exhaustion struggle, it's kind of difficult. But I just keep telling myself, you know, it's temporary. And I am feeling much better than I was in first trimester. I can only count my blessings. I know not everybody gets that. Sometimes women puke through their whole pregnancies, so I really can't complain too much. As far as food goes, I've had less aversions and I'm starting to have my cravings kick in. So for me, that is really loving sour stuff. I really like spicy foods. For some reason, during this pregnancy and my last, my spice tolerance is like way higher than normal. Usually Ben has a higher spice tolerance than me, but we literally had one week where I watched an episode of Hot Ones, which is this Hot Wings YouTube series. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. But it will make you crave hot wings, and I was so craving that. We got these really spicy gochujang flavored Korean hot wings. I think they're like 10 pieces in each serving. Ben ate 2 of them and he tapped out. He was like, "You can have the rest," and I absolutely killed it. And mentally I was like, oh, I know that normally this would be way beyond my limits, but right now it's exactly what I wanted to eat. And I guess that's the beauty of cravings. When you have that so bad and then you finally get to fulfill it, it's like so satisfying. So, you know, there's not always just downsides to like feeling crazy during the pregnancy, because when you finally get to eat what you have been craving for, it's like the heavens open up and you hear angels singing and you're like, my baby inside my tummy is happy right now. It's all worth it. So one weird thing that I have experienced, I remember having a little bit my first pregnancy, but this time was way worse, was having this really disgusting metallic taste in my mouth. Now this wasn't this last week, but it was like a couple of weeks ago, and it lasted for a good 2 weeks, and it just made all of the things that I ate taste so horrible. I felt like I was sticking a battery in my mouth every time I had any meals, or like shoving pennies in my mouth. And sometimes it wasn't necessarily while I was eating something, but right afterwards I would have just this overbearing coppery taste in my mouth. I don't know what was up. I looked online. It's definitely one of those weird pregnancy things that just comes and goes, and it could just be hormone fluctuations or whatnot. But I found that one thing that really helped me was using a tongue scraper on top of brushing my teeth way more frequently to try to get any flavors outside of my tongue as quickly as possible. But that really sucked because everything I ate was that much less enjoyable, and it kind of made me not have as much of an appetite. If you guys are having like appetite issues here and there, sometimes that just happens. Don't worry, the baby's not dying or suffocating or starving. Some things just come and go week to week. So that's something that I definitely learned from both of my pregnancies. There are just some really bizarre things that happen, especially when it comes to things that you consume, things that don't want to be consumed, things that you consume and then they're like, no, it's a bad idea, eject. One super exciting thing that happened within this past week is I for sure felt around probably week 16 the first kicks, and that was super exciting for me because I feel like week 14, 15, it's like you think maybe, but then it could also just be gas bubbles. kicks. It sort of feels like the same thing, to be honest, but I feel like by the 16th week, I really recognized what those kicks felt like. And for me, it was popcorn popping in your stomach. So instead of just like one gurgle or a couple gurgles, it would be like punches. Something a little bit consistent or rolling around the belly. It felt really familiar. And it's so funny because before that happened, I was like, I forgot what it feels like. Am I going to know? And because I have an anterior placenta, like I mentioned in the last video, I didn't know if I would even be able to feel any kicks until like week 20. But I am pretty confident that as a second time mom, that's for sure what I'm feeling. When I feel it, I know the difference between that and gas. And so that's really exciting because I'm still hoping that this baby will be more chill than Aria was in my stomach. But it is reassuring feeling the baby actually move here and there because I haven't done any Doppler listening like I did the first pregnancy. I've just tried to be a little bit more chill about it. And I will say another weird pregnancy side effect that happens is the really weird, vivid, terrifying dreams we all have sometimes. With Aria, I had so many bizarre dreams about being pregnant, having a baby, having horrible, crazy things happen during the pregnancy. I think I had one dream where there were 2 holes in my stomach and there was a foot sticking out of each hole. Obviously not happening in real life. That would be horrifying and I literally logically don't even know how that's possible. But this pregnancy for sure, I think just because I've been a lot less anxious about it, I really haven't had them super bad. I have had some weird vivid dreams, but they haven't been like horrifying nightmares. And they haven't necessarily been about me being pregnant or a mother or things having to do with a baby. And I think that says a lot about my state of peace versus anxiety, just mentally. For my skin, I think I didn't mention this in my last video. I have hormonal acne. Yay! If you guys didn't watch my Cop It or Drop It video where I tested a couple different peel off masks, I had no makeup on and you can see the extent of how bad my skin has been. Really bad. Like almost equal to the level of worst skin of my life level bad. But again, I feel like I do have this sense of it being temporary. I've tried not to fuss too much about it. The one thing I did do is I talked to my OB-GYN about it and she gave me a prescription for topical clindamycin. So I've been using that on my face in the morning and the night and that helped a lot with the little tiny ones that were all over my forehead. But I do have cystic ones on my cheeks and my chin and you know, I don't think the topical antibiotics are going to get rid of those meaty monsters. My skin is just really reactive when it comes to hormones and it's something that I've just had to accept about my face and my body. And it is kind of a struggle mentally because I know everybody has this perception of like beautiful glowing skin pregnant women and also just Korean women in general. They're like, oh my gosh, do you ever get breakouts? And I'm the polar opposite of that where I get breakouts like all the time. I'm like poster child for hormonal breakouts. So that's me. And if that's you, we can stand together in solidarity. You're not alone. And it is very frustrating and I have the pigmentation afterwards. I'm planning on doing a whole video about my pregnancy skincare routine. So if you would like to see that, let me know down in the comments because it has been a huge struggle for me, but something that, you know, I'm still working through. I'm still trying to figure out, but I've done a lot of research. So hopefully that can help some of you guys out there if you're just wondering what's safe, what's okay, and if you're having skin issues. Nothing that's going to like hurt the baby, but pregnancy skincare is just weird. I could talk an hour about it. Otherwise, I guess the remaining things that I've been going through have just been body things. My boobs are getting bigger and sorer. If I wear the wrong bra and it kind of pinches at the bottom, oh, it's so painful. Even after I take out the bra, it just hurts so bad. And obviously, my stomach is getting a lot bigger. Whoa, I forgot to mention, I have popped so much bigger and so much quicker than my last pregnancy. I know they always say that about second-time mothers, you show quicker, but I feel like some of the pictures I see of myself, or if I'm walking around a mall and I pass a mirror, I'm like, whoa, I didn't realize that was already that big. But let me go ahead and show you my stomach situation. Here it is. I'm wearing a nice fitted maxi dress. So you can see it's definitely like a bump all the way round from top to bottom. No longer just a burrito baby. There's a baby inside that stomach. No question about it. I'll end on this wonderful TMI note. If I sneeze, I pee. I squirt a little bit. It's not pleasant. Gotta do the panty liner situation or switching out my underwear. It's embarrassing. It sucks, especially if I'm out and about and that happens. But it's just the extra pressure, not to mention from the urinary incontinence issues I personally went through after delivering the first baby. There are not enough Kegels in the world, I think, that are really going to fix me at this point. I'm gonna go through this whole process where this is gonna get bigger, there's gonna be even more pressure, I'm gonna deliver another baby. I'm just gonna have to do a lot of exercises after this baby is out. I forgot to say this earlier, but I didn't want to end this video without sharing a little story of last week. We went in for my 16-week doctor's appointment.
Alright, so this is the head
it's
here.
so big already.
Yeah.
It's like a gremlin or something.
Yeah. It'll look more like a baby a little bit later on, but you can see two eyes in the top.
Hi, baby.
And here's the heartbeat.
They told me I had an anterior placenta, so I wouldn't feel stuff as much.
So you see that right there? You can see it kind of mushing when your baby's moving.
So it is anterior?
Yeah. So usually it like cushions it, but yeah, I mean maybe when the baby's especially active, you feel a little bit.
I'm really grateful that every single time I see my OB-GYN, I get to have an ultrasound and see the baby. I feel like that relieves a lot of my anxieties, but this particular visit, I was 16 weeks, so I was like, oh, you know, they might be able to see the gender by now. As she's scanning and scanning, I see her sort of aim the camera toward the bottom part of the baby, and then she just went away after a couple seconds, and I was like, can you just check and see? Unfortunately, she couldn't tell for two reasons. The umbilical cord decided to be down between the baby's legs, so that makes things a little harder to tell. And the baby's hand was also like covering its crotch. So thanks, baby, for hiding your genitalia from your mother and father. We aren't able to tell. We're still going to have to wait until the anatomy scan. Ben and I talked a lot about if we should go to one of those boutique 3D scan places to find out the gender early, but you know what? I'm 17 weeks now. I think my anatomy scan, we're going to schedule it for 2 weeks from now, so I'll be able to find out at about 19 weeks, and I just felt kind of silly. I've waited all of this time. Am I really not gonna have the patience to wait 2 more weeks? Honestly, the 3D pictures, they look better when they're more like past 20 weeks because the babies get a little more cute fat in their faces. So at this point, it would just be like such a selfish thing to satisfy our curiosity for 2 weeks earlier. As much as I want to know, I will be patient and wait until our 19-20 week anatomy scan. And I'm sad to say this. I always told myself I would find out right away with the second baby, but I think we're just so happy with either way it could go this time. Boy or girl. I don't feel that kind of like fear of gender disappointment this time. By the time I do the next vlog, we'll probably know the gender, which is so exciting. If you guys think it's a boy or a girl, let me know in the comments based on my symptoms and stuff. We can always find out together, but I can always suppose together too. If you guys know any old wives' tales, let me know that in the comments too, because I want to try some out. Anyway, that's about it for this vlog. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you didn't get to see my last Preggy vlog or the rest of the videos in this series, I'll link the playlist down below and above so you can click that and check it out. Subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. I love you. Bye!